In the previous video, we talked about the basic of real estate, which include the categories of real estate, a characteristic of a real estate, and then the legal rights of a real estate owners. Now let's talk about the real estate terms and definitions that you need to be familiar of. Because if you apply as a virtual assistant for a real estate agent, there are a lot of terms na probably na hindi ka familiar, and it's very important na alam mo sila kasi you will work with this kind of terms as you work as a virtual assistant or as a REVA, real estate virtual assistant. Okay, first is the buyer's agent. Buyer's agent are real estate agent who represent the buyer of the property. Because as a real estate agent kasi, there are different type of license na yung agent can take. They can be a buyer's agent only, they can be a listing agent or a sales agent only, or they can be both. uh they can have the license to represent both buyers or sellers. Seller's agent, or you can also hear this as a listing agent, are the ones who represent the sellers of the property. Real estate agent, or the agent who work under brokerage. Real estate agent are licensed agent to represent a seller or a buyer, but they usually cannot work without a broker. So they work with a brokerage or a broker, which next is the broker. Broker is a real estate company that handles real estate agent, like for example KW or Keller Williams brokerage. They have a lot of Keller Williams real estate agent, or EXP Realty. This is also a real estate company that handles real estate agent. However, a realtor is like an individual real estate agent, but in their license, they can work independently without kahit na hindi sila nagwo-work under a brokerage. That's the difference between the real estate agent and the realtor. Real estate agent cannot work without a broker, while realtor can work without a broker. On the transaction process naman, escrow is like a third party na mag-handle ng um, uh, payments and documents for safekeeping, for the security of both party, for both the seller and the buyer. Title is kind of the same, that they kind of do the same thing, but more they also facilitate the closing, or the document, or the finalization ng transaction. The difference is escrow is not mandatory. If wala silang escrow, the title company can be the escrow. They can be the one handling the documents and payments. The title is more like the legal side na magfa-finalize ng closing kung okay na ba lahat ng documents, lahat ng payments, and pwede na bang i-start yung process ng title name dun sa pangalan ng owner for the property's title. Deed is the document, uh it's like yung proof of sale na mahahawakan ng buyer. Kasi when they purchase the property, hindi agad-agad malilipat sa pangalan nila yung title. Especially kung naka-financing yan, yung hulugan, monthly, hindi agad-agad lilipat sa kanila yung pangalan under the title. So, yung proof nila na binili na nila yung property is a deed of sale. Residential Purchase Agreement, or RPA, is the contract between the buyer and the seller na meron silang kasunduan na bibilin yung property in this certain amount and magko-close yung property in the certain date. Residential Purchase Agreement, every negotiated information about the property is in that document. Later on, we will dive into dissecting the RPA, or the contract, so you have the idea how it works. But you need to take note na yung mga residential purchase agreement, iba-iba sila ng itsura sa iba't kada states or kada country, but they mostly um, same purpose. So kahit magkakaiba sila ng itsura, you have the idea of how the contract work between the seller and the buyer. On the financial terms naman, we have the pre-qualification. Pre-qualification, sa ibang bansa kasi they based it of credit score. In the Philippines, we don't really use credit score that much. So when it comes to pre-qualification, yung buyer, they will go to a bank or a lender and they will request um a, a report or a review para malaman nila kung magkano yung pwede nilang mautang. That's for the pre-qualification. Pre-approval naman is after ma-review ng lender or ng bank yung credit history or financial history ni buyer, dun sila mag-a-approve ng certain amount na pwedeng i-borrow ni buyer. If, for example, may magandang credit score si buyer and pwede siyang umutang ng 350,000. Yung $350,000 na yun yung pwede niyang ipambili ng bahay. Pwede siyang kumuha ng bahay na mas mababa sa 350 or within 350. Kung mas mataas naman sa 350,000, yung sobra is babayaran niya na ng cash as a down payment. Yun yung sa pre-approval. And it's highly recommended na lahat ng buyer before sila send ng offer to the seller have a pre-approval para alam na nila kung magkano yung pwede nilang i-loan and kung kakasya ba dun sa budget ng property. Mortgage. Mortgage is yung pinakautang ng housing loan. Mortgage is yung binabayaran na monthly ng buyer after nilang bumili ng property. Principal. The principal is the base amount of the loan. Like I mentioned, if naumutang sila ng 350, the principal is 350,000. Principal is the base amount of the loan without the interest. Wala pa siyang interest. Amortization is the monthly payment. If umutang sila ng 350,000 and yung monthly amortization nila is 2,500, yun yung amortization. Down payment is the down payment is the cash amount that the buyer will pay the bank for the property. It can be cash or it can be installment for 6 or 12 months depende sa pag-uusap nila ni bank. Closing cost. The closing cost is provided by the title company. Like I mentioned, they are the one handling everything. The closing cost is like a sheet of computation na magagastos ni buyer. It could be it will be deducted dun sa sales price na makukuha ni seller. So lahat 'yon. Transaction fees, title, company fees, documentation fees, lahat ng fees malalagay doon. Yung total amount nasa ilalim nun as a closing cost. I missed something. We missed something around here. So residential purchase agreement, and then okay. MLS. The MLS is multiple listing service or system. MLS is used by licensed real estate agent, brokerage, realtor, lenders. They are the ones who can access the MLS. Mga consumer cannot access the MLS backend. So, yung mga may hawak lang ng MLS o makakapag search lang sa through MLS are the licensed professional. Contingent offer. Contingent offer is how do I explain it? It's like if the buyer sends an offer to the seller and there is a contingency, it might be about the like loan approval. Yung contingency is Like if the buyer sends an offer and meron siyang condition, like for example, the contract is not active until the buyer secure a loan approval within 30 days. Magiging active lang yung offer na yon kapag nagkaroon na ng loan approval si buyer. There are different scenario na pwede maging contingency like inspections, but for short, the contingency refers to the meeting a certain what do you call it, meeting a certain condition bago i-activate yung offer or yung contract. Listing price is yung amount, the market value or market offer ng seller. For example, they want to sell the property at 300,000. Yun yung listing price, 300,000. It will be different depending on the negotiation kapag may contract na. Listing price is different from sales price. Yung sales price is yung final amount na napagkasundoan ni buyer at seller. But yung listing price is just the amount that the seller want to sell the property. Yun yung amount na makikita nyo sa mga websites regarding dun sa property yan. A HOA, Homeowners Association, like I mentioned earlier, is like a policy within a certain community. They regulate like mga rules and regulations sa certain subdivision. Like for example, like I mentioned earlier, hindi sila tumatanggap na manggagawa ka ng commercial property sa isang subdivision. Yun yung mga homeowners association regulation, which is HOA. Property tax. For the property tax, yun yung binabayaran either annually or every 6 months or every quarter. Lahat naman ng property, kahit saan, kailangan magbayad ng tax. That's the property tax. Closing disclosure. Yung closing cost is kasama sa disclosure document. Dito nakalagay na okay na lahat, nandito yung deed of sales and everything for the closing, and ibibigay siya both seller and the buyer for as proof na okay na yung transaction, na pwede nang ilipat yung property's name to the buyer. Ngayon, let's talk about different type of loans. Conventional loan is your regular loan from the bank. Usually, the down payment for this is 20%, and usually they take 30-year payment terms. Yan yung conventional loan. The VA loan is a Veteran Associations loan. This is specifically for yung mga dating militars na tumigil na sa serbisyo. They are called veterans. And dito, usually, wala silang down payment required. Walang credit score background required. They can loan with low interest as well as a veteran. Yun yung mga VA loans. And most commonly used is FHA loan, which is stand for Federal Housing Administration. This is also from the government, but unlike the VA loans, they are required to pay at least 3.5%. I think currently it's 3.5% for the down payment. Meron silang credit score review, but hindi siya kasing taas compared to the conventional loan. And usually, you can think of FHA like Pag-ibig housing loan. That's the best example I can give you, because this is also from the government and they give chance for low interest as well and a low credit score requirement, and also loan down payment. Next is hard money. Hard money is not buying by cash. It's like kumuha ka na si buyer kumuha ng uh, loan from a private lender, and yung collateral is yung property. It can be properties, houses, investment, or anything na pwedeng kuhanin if hindi sila nakapagbayad. That's the hard money. Now we have the home equity loan, which is called HELOC. HELOC is not like the hard money because hard money will, will pay the mortgagee or the lender their property as a whole. The home equity loan naman, yung loan nila, ang collateral is yung equity or yung value ng property na meron sila. Different type of mortgage. Fixed rate mortgage, ibig sabihin yung interest rate is not increasing, it's not, hindi rin siya bumababa, hindi siya tumataas. Adjustable mortgage, like the name suggests, yung interest will adjust depending on the market um, interest rate, the bank's interest rate, and the state. It will depend on that. The downside of the adjustable mortgage, it can go high. Your interest can go higher as the interest in the market goes high. While on the fixed rate naman, yung downside sa fixed rate mortgage is kapag bumaba yung interest mo hindi bababa kasi naka-fixed rate ka na. So that is the real estate terms and definitions you have to be familiar with if you are planning to apply as a virtual assistant for a real estate agent.